Hey all, it's Jen from Worst Collection Ever, and trying something new because I really want to talk about Hush 2 or H2SH. Why would you put the 2 there? Regardless, doesn't matter. I am not liking it. And I'm going to kind of go on a little explanation as to why. I am not a fan of what is going on right now. I loved the first Hush, but then I reread it before going into this and I was like, oh, wait, no, this is a mess too. Yeah. But obviously, the reason it is beloved by me is because we have a great Bruce-Selena relationship going on. And in this one, I don't even know what the fuck is going on. So come with me on a little journey as we walk through. I'm not going to walk through all the issues. I'm just going to kind of talk about what's going on. Things I don't like, weird shit I've noticed. So Batman 158, 159, and 160. I'm not going to point out where everything that I'm talking about happens in what issue. You get the idea. So before I get into complaining, because, that's what I do, I just want to point out that there are a couple of things that I do actually like about this book. Obviously, the art. This picture here of Barbara, the background, this is a really great drawing. I also like that she looks like she has like bat wings that maybe allow her to fly. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I do like this. I think this is cool. I also really appreciate the way that Jim Lee has drawn Silence. So Silence is a big guy who talks kind of like Black Bolt, and it deafens people and such. So when he speaks, this is how it's drawn. I think this is pretty fucking cool. I think this is a good way to showcase how loud his voice is. I also I don't like this character, but I like the addition of enhanced people. So regular people who have become enhanced through science or all sorts of other nefarious means to turn themselves into metahumans. And I think that's kind of cool. We also see that showing up in Batman Beyond. So I think that's really a good addition here. I think it's nice to see it. And of course, we also have Silence, who I don't love the design of either one of these characters, but I like the idea of them. I'm going to get into what I don't like, and I'm actually going to start with what I call duh. Like, no fucking shit. No kidding. Something I really didn't like in these first few issues is that Batman is having some sort of like moral dilemma and almost like weird shame around the fact that he saved the Joker's life. Well, no fucking shit, you saved the Joker's life, dude. That's what you do. That it's even a conflict for 2 issues is ridiculous. So, here he is talking about how, there's going to be a ripple effect when everybody finds out. Bro, everybody knows. What are you talking about? Like, of course you saved the Joker. You would save any single one of your villains. This is not like a huge thing, nor does a shock. We all knew what you were going to do. I don't know why we spent 2 issues on it. So that's really kind of annoying. We see here, obviously, here's Bruce with the Joker, and that it bothers him that he made this decision, or maybe Hush made it for him. And I'm like, no, this was the decision you literally would have made. Doesn't matter what happened. I don't get it. Anyway, the other thing I really hate about this Joker thing, besides Batman's ridiculous, like, quote, moral dilemma that he's going through, is that we get this thing here where he takes Joker to Leslie and is like, hey, Hush tried to kill Joker. Could you please fix him up so he does not die? And Leslie's like, you just didn't want to be seen in public with him. And he's like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, bro, why? This doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because how many times has Batman brought Joker to Arkham, been seen in public with him? Everybody knows he doesn't kill the Joker. Everybody knows he puts him in Arkham, and everybody knows he breaks out. And if he really didn't want to be seen with the Joker, call an ambulance. Wait until they get there and disappear. Just make sure he gets there. And he's like, well, if they took him to Arkham, they'd kill him, and that's bad. And I'm like, since when have you ever cared about that? Like, okay, you don't personally kill. Totally fine. You're going to save everybody. Totally fine. Since when has Batman given one single shit about what happens once he turns these people over to the police? Are you telling me that now Batman has a huge moral dilemma where, like, if he turns the Joker over to the police and he's sentenced to death and the state tries to kill him, now Batman's going to have a hair across his ass about it, but he doesn't care about anybody else getting the death penalty? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I just don't feel like this characterization of Bruce is anywhere near anything that we've seen in the past couple of decades. And that's kind of something, I'm not saying anything that other people haven't said here, but this really feels like a book that should have been written, or maybe was written 20 years ago. It feels like it came right after, maybe a couple weeks after the first Hush, because all of the stuff that we're seeing, this, oh my God, huge moral dilemma about saving the Joker, and oh my God, I can't be seen in public with him, blah, 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 blah. It really wouldn't have played that well back then, but maybe we could have gone with it if we didn't continuously see Batman not doing these things, like getting past it, I guess. I don't know. It just, it's bad. I am not a huge fan of this. I don't know if Jeff Loeb has read any Batman since he wrote Hush, but this is weird. It doesn't belong here. I don't know who this person is. And if it gets any, like, more out of character, I don't know if we're going to start calling him Crazy Steve like we did for All-Star Batman, because I don't know who this guy is. So something else I really dislike here in this book, and I only pulled 2 panels. I literally could have just filled this whole thing with panels, because all Bruce does is ask questions that he in no way attempts to find an answer for. He's just, oh, what did the Joker hope to accomplish? How did Talia find me? Who else knew? He doesn't actually do any detective work to find any of this out in any of the 3 issues. He just continually asks himself question after question after question and does absolutely fucking nothing to answer them. And that is extremely frustrating, especially if we are talking about the world's greatest detective. You would think, instead of just flying off the handle, because he's insane in this, in Hush 2 here. He is just flying off the handle. He's running around. He's not stopping to think, to even attempt to figure out what's going on. He's jumping to conclusions, asking himself all these weird questions, and not actually looking for answers. He's just like, yep, this is Hush. I'm like, oh, how do you know? Oh, well, it's a good thing you just happen to be right. But at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Let's see him do what he does best. But instead, he's just bouncing off the goddamn wall and kicking people in the face and go, like, we'll talk about Jason in a minute, but what are you doing? Something else I just to mention as kind of like a WTF moment. I can't stand the way the Riddler looks here. This is like straight out of the 90s. This is, look at his little fun little tattoo. Isn't he cute? No, this is fucking dumb. I do, however, like the drawings of all these Batgirl costumes in the background. That's fun. We enjoy that. But this dude, super swole man with his dumb question mark jacket. I don't know who the fuck this is. I don't know. Maybe it's the Riddler's twin brother, because what the fuck? Also, he just stands around acting like he knows everything, but doesn't actually give any insight into what is happening, which is very annoying, because that's kind of this book. It's just Bruce asking a bunch of questions, Riddler acting like he knows what's going on, but actually never giving the reader any information whatsoever. And fuck that, because that is stupid. Another what the fuck moment for me was this. Okay, we all know, let's just get it out. I hate Damian Wayne. I have always hated Damian Wayne. I'm sorry, I hate Damian Wayne. Never liked him. He's an annoying little shit. I'm sorry. It's fine. Whatever. However, the last time Damian saw Bane is when Bane killed Alfred in front of him. And now Damian's hanging out with Bane? Like, getting Bane to come help Bruce against the stupid Silence guy? That makes literally no sense. It makes no sense. It's why would he ever act this way? And plus, Damian, being the little shit that he is, wouldn't think that he needed help. He would come in and he would be the help. that he thinks his father needs. But he brings this big dude, I guess because Jim Lee wanted to draw him, but nobody actually looked to see if there was any sort of drama that needed to be addressed before we put him in the damn book. So yeah, and of course Bruce over here just being like an absolute lunatic. Again, has Hush gotten to him? I don't know, Bruce. Your stupid ex-girlfriend showed up in the beginning for no fucking reason whatsoever. Maybe you should have asked her. Something else drives me crazy. This is just shut the fuck up, Bruce. Like, this drives me crazy because of Jason basically reverting to exactly how he was 20 years ago when he came back in Under the Red Hood. And now, where we have seen, Bruce and Jason have their problems, obviously understandable. I thought we were in a somewhat decent place, not a great place. I don't think these two will ever be in a great place, but a decent place. And now we just have, Jason flying off the fucking handle, blaming Bruce for not killing the Joker. No kidding. He's not going to kill him. And then Bruce thinking about like, oh, well, he's unpredictable and arrogant. And I'm like, you could be talking about yourself, right? Because what? So yeah, not a huge fan of that either. And then for the last one, I gotta say, this is just, sure, this might as well happen. Like, I try not to read the interviews and stuff. I'm trying not to look at outside stuff. I just want to know what's happening in the book before I make my decisions on how I feel about it. But I did see the whole thing about how Loeb and Lee want to solve the Robin problem. Yeah, there's too many fucking Robins, man. But you're going to, quote, kill them? Nobody stays dead in comics. Damian didn't, and literally everyone that he's going to kill has died. So it's not a permanent thing. So I don't really understand, like, is this supposed to be earth-shaking? Is it going to change the DC universe? What, until like 3 issues later when they come back? I honestly, literally could not care less. Especially because I don't even know what Hush wants. He just wants to fuck with Bruce. Okay, why? You already did. But I guess you're bored? Do you have nothing else to do? Like, I'm sure you can get a hobby. Like, I need a reason that he's going after Bruce again. And there doesn't seem to be one hinted at or anything. We just know he's going after Bruce because that is what he does. And that is not a good enough motive. Keeping with the idea that that's not a good enough motive, I also don't think that we're dealing with Hush from the first book. One of the reasons I believe that is here when where Hush comes to talk to Jason after Jason has knocked Bruce unconscious. Jason asks, "Why are you whispering? We're the only two people here." And my guess is because he wants to hide his voice. Because if Batman actually heard his voice in case he wasn't conscious or whatever, he would know it wasn't actually Tommy Elliott. So I think that's kind of a hint of where we're going. Also, this whole thing with these stupid Damascus steel, it doesn't matter. But Jason tells him, he's like, oh, Bruce has a camera in here, right? He heard everything that you said. And Hush goes, oh, does he? And then he throws these scalpels at the camera. Hush would have already known there was a camera. So are we dealing with someone else who is impersonating Hush and does not know Bruce as well as Hush would? My guess is yes, maybe. We'll have to see. I don't know. I'm hoping, because that might be somewhat interesting, except instead of Tommy Elliott just really hates Bruce. Give me something else. Also, just want to say pouches. Look at those pouches. We are bringing the 90s back in full force, and also in the worst way possible. Wrapping up, obviously, I am not a huge fan of this. I don't like this. I don't like that Talia showed up out of nowhere. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't like that Damian showed up with Bane. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Also, where the hell is Selena? She needs to be here somewhere. Anyway, so wrapping this up, I just want to say that I have a theory, besides the fact that Hush is probably not actually Hush as we know him. And my theory here, and the only one that makes any sense to me about why Bruce is acting like such a fucking lunatic, is because something has happened to him. Bruce isn't Bruce. this is why I think this. So we have Bruce removing his cowl. This is in the first issue that this happens. He gets thrown into the reservoir with the Joker fish. And he's like, aha, good idea. I will remove my cowl so I can electrocute these fish that are eating me, as we can see here, and I will get away. But his suit's been damaged, so he actually electrocutes himself. My theory here is when this happened, it triggered something. Whatever that something is. Maybe Tommy Elliott left another implant in there, because as we saw at the end of the last Hush, when he operated on Bruce, he put a little, device at the base of his skull so he would kind of know what was going on with stuff, and Bruce had Superman. He'd vision it away. Okay, cool. I don't know. Are we talking about something else? Have we triggered something else that maybe Tommy Elliott implanted on Bruce's brain, which is making him act completely out of character and not slow down enough to realize that, something's not right here? So I don't know. That's a thought. The other reason I think that this might be is because we get this picture, which I'm sure Jim Lee just thought was cool, of Batman here holding a gun to Jason's face. This is after he shot him, and obviously everybody knows that this was a very big, controversial moment because Batman literally shot his son in the face with a gun. It's not something he would ever do. And he's like, well, I had to make sure it wasn't Clayface, but that doesn't even make any fucking sense. He would have hit him with a batarang. He would have, done a billion. He would have frozen him, freeze grenade, pick something, because Bruce doesn't like guns. The idea that he would just pick up Jason's gun and be like, I'm just going to shoot you in the face, hopefully you don't die, doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense character-wise, because what does everybody know about Bruce? Everyone in the fucking world who has ever heard of Batman knows, 1, he does not kill, and number 2, he doesn't like guns. And then finally, the reason I kind of believe we're going that way is because Jason tells Dick, Bruce shot me with a gun, and Dick goes, I don't believe you. So obviously, even the other characters are seeing that he is acting out of character. And of course, if these two were rational human beings, if this was written as anything other than lots of fast stuff, people punchy, they might have actually had a conversation about how fucked up and weird that is, and maybe they should go see what's actually going on. And I think that might have been a more interesting way to go over Nightwing and Jason fight. We could have seen them working together as the brothers they are to try to find out what's actually happening here and letting us, the audience, in on what this mystery is. Because right now, it's just punchy, Bruce asking a bunch of questions, flying off the handle, random characters showing up for no fucking reason. And I can't say it's a very enjoyable reading experience at all, especially when you wanted this to be good, We've got 3 more issues to go before Matt Fraction takes over. We start with a brand new Batman #1, because why the fuck wouldn't we? Looking forward to seeing what Fraction does, but not looking forward to the next 3 issues of this, nor am I looking forward to apparently another 6 issues of this somewhere down the line, as Hush 3. I don't know how we're going to say that. Right now we've got H2SH, maybe. That'll work, but yeah. So anyway, thank you for hanging with me for this little experiment here. Listen to Worst Collection Ever. It's my podcast with my husband, Sean Merrick. We talk about how we have a shitty comic book collection and poke fun at all the random shit that we own. And we do it out of love, of course. So yeah, we will see you later. Bye.